Hey guys, and welcome to limited review week here on the Needs Own Magic channel. Just today, Oath of the Gatewatch was fully spoiled. So for the next several days, probably about 10 days, I'll be posting a video every day related to the limited review of the set. And the first thing I'm going to do is a review of what I think are the best commons and uncommons in each color. So this is important in sort of assessing which colors are the best in a set, because those are the cards you're going to see the most. The rares are nice, of course, but they don't matter that much. And so today I'm doing white, and tomorrow will be another color, and so forth. You can figure it out from there. So we are starting with white, the best commons and uncommons in white. And the best uncommon, I think, is Immolating Glare. A really efficient removal is always a very high pick. I think Immolating Glare is the kind of card that people will first pick. I mean, if you think back recently to Sandblast, that was a first pickable card. Wasn't nearly as good as Immolating Glare. Sandblast, I guess, could kill blocking creatures, and Immolating Glare couldn't, but the fact that Immolating Glare costs one less and can kill absolutely anything is relevant. It's not a perfect card by any means, but I think it's definitely a first pickable card. It's the kind of uncommon you'll be perfectly happy to take. I also have an honorable mention for best uncommon, and that is Wall of Resurgence. It's not quite as first pickable. It will be in some packs that are a little underwhelming, I guess. I wouldn't take it over most removal, but it's a card that I think warrants mentioning because it's a pretty good card that I think some people might want to overlook. It's 3 mana for 0/6 Wall, which is sometimes playable in a format anyway, and it probably is in this one already. Not amazing, though, and you probably cut it about half the time if that's all it was. But in addition to that, it makes one of your lands into a 3/3 creature, and that land the land becomes a creature, and it has haste and everything. Obviously, the turn you play Wall of Resurgence, if you play it on turn 3, that land will be tapped, but that doesn't change the fact that you now you've played a 3/3 creature on turn 3, which is a pretty good deal, and you have a 0/6 Wall that can help you block. That's pretty great in my book, and I think it's a card that warrants being mentioned, at least as an honorable mention, as the best white uncommon. All right, so now we'll move to the best commons. I always talk about the 3 best white commons, or best commons of any color for that matter, because it's worth it to mention all of them, all of the ones that are the best, the ones that you want to have multiple copies of a lot of the time. Some of them are even first pickable at times. So at number 3 we have Core Scythemaster. It's just another really efficient ally for white. Allies, if you didn't know, are still a thing in Oath of the Gatewatch. They've changed a little bit, but you still have a Battle for Zendikar pack, which is something important to remember in this draft. It's 2 Oath of the Gatewatch, 1 Battle for Zendikar. So that means you also get a shot at some of the rally allies from the other set. And in Oath of the Gatewatch, you have Cohort, which is another ability that pays you for having lots of allies in play, but it's a little bit different. That's something I'll discuss in more detail in an arc-type video a little bit down the road. But Core Scythemaster is just a very good attacker, and it's not even an awful blocker. I mean, it can trade with a lot of things. It can trade up with having 3 power and things like that. It is susceptible to removal, but it's also very hard to block in the early going. If this were a set that had Kozilek Sentinel in it, and again, I realize there's one Battle for Zendikar pack, but there's going to be much fewer Kozilek Sentinels running around. Core Scythemaster would be much worse if, say, it had been in Battle for Zendikar because of a card like Kozilek's Sentinel. But since that's not going to be as prevalent, and it's only in 1 color, I think Core Scythemaster is the 3rd best common. And it's a card you'll usually be happy to have 1 of in any white deck you make, I think. Next up, we have Spawnbinder Mage. Here's Cohort for you. I mentioned it a moment ago. All the Cohort abilities have you tap the creature and tap another untapped ally you control to tap a creature. It's important to remember that while the creature with Cohort can't use the ability once the turn it comes into play, if you play another ally, because the ability doesn't have the tap symbol, it has tap an untapped ally you control tap, you can actually use the ability right away. So that's worth remembering. So, just to make that a little less confusing, say you have Spawnbinder Mage in play, you've had it in play for a turn, you can play Core Scythemaster and then immediately tap your opponent's creature, even though the Scythemaster just came into play. But Master Decoy is always a pretty good card, especially when it comes on a good body. We had a Crow and Jailer recently, which was like a really crappy Master Decoy. Spawnbinder Mage takes us back to a pretty good Master Decoy. There's actually also a very good one in the set in blue, which I'll talk about in my blue limited review video. But Spawnbinder Mage is good because, first of all, it's a 4-mana 2/4, which basically passes the vanilla test already. It's a good blocker. And also because it can help you break through your opponent's defenses. Something that allies have in this set in Cohort is a way of actually winning the game late, because all these Cohort abilities, generally find you a way to win the game in other ways than were possible with a red-white ally deck in Battle for Zendikar. Tapping down your opponent's creature at the end of their turn, tapping down their biggest threat at the beginning of combat. I realize you have to have another ally in play, but the fact that Spawnbinder Mage is a decent-sized creature already and a decent blocker, and you don't hate to play it on turn 4 no matter what, makes it, I think, the second best common. And you do want to be in an ally deck for it to be good, as opposed to Core Scythe Master. But basically, if you're in an ally deck, I think, again, you always want a Spawnbinder Mage, just like you're always going to want a Core Scythe Master. So the number one white common in Oath of the Gatewatch is Isolation Zone. It's a very good removal spell. That's usually what comes in at number one in my lists. We also saw Immolating Glare as I thought the best uncommon. And I think generally, especially in a set that has all these monsters you have to be able to deal with, having removal spells that are catch-alls that can kill anything are good. Isolation Zone, does cost 4. It's a little bit clunky, but, that's how removal is these days. I mean, we just had Grip of Desolation recently at 6, which was an incredibly good card. It was also an instant. And I think Isolation Zone, is not quite as good as Grip of Desolation, of course, but quite good. It can be removed by things like Felidar Cub from Battle for Zendikar, allowing your opponent to get the creature back. But despite that, the fact that this can remove anything, it can also remove your opponent's Isolation Zone, incidentally, so you can get your card back. But I think those are the 3 best commons. I think Immolating Glare is the best white uncommon. And I think that's how this color will pan out. You can see allies are a theme. The fact that white has 2 very strong removal spells at one at uncommon and one at common bodes well for it. White already had some pretty strong removal in Battle for Zendikar, and so it's something that will be continuing for white. So that's the best list of the best commons and the best uncommons from Oath of the Gatewatch for limited purposes. I'll be doing, again, I'll just remind you, I'll be doing one of these every day this week. There will be the rest of I'll do another color every day this week. The week's over, basically, but you know what I mean. The next 4 days, I'll be doing the next colors in succession. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And in those comments, let me know what you think about the cards I picked. Let me know if you think I missed something. It's entirely possible. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.